second round of the NBA draft. A former undrafted player signing a big deal. This is Austin Reaves, who was set to become an unrestricted free agent. He is going to rejoin the Lakers and stay in LA. $185 million deal, according to ESPN. It's a max deal for the former undrafted free agent who declined a $15 million player option heading into next season. Coming off a career year, he averaged 23.3 points per game. That's the most by an undrafted player since Moses Malone. And there's a little technicality there. Malone was drafted, but to the ABA, not the NBA. So that's one of those guys that we were thinking was going to be available on the market. That is not going to be the case. Chris Hassel, joined by Noah Bono and Mike O'Donnell, and the Lakers, who last night drafted Cam Carr out of Baylor, make a big move today in locking up a guy who did not hear his name called at all in the draft a few years ago.
Well, first of all, congrats to him, because the goal in the NBA is to win championships and get accolades, but it's also to get paid. And this man got paid, and he got paid a lot of money. So to start where he was in the small town Arkansas, to climb his way through being undrafted and playing on a tumultuous Lakers team when Russell Westbrook was first traded there, and he's coming off the bench as this supplemental piece because they were like, we don't have enough here. We got to play Austin Reaves. And that was really when his opportunity started to kick in, to then the following year helping them get to the Western Conference Finals in Darvin Ham's first year as the coach, next to AD, next to LeBron. It's remarkable, that jump that you see on the screen and the points per game that has gone up, and the year he had this year. Probably would have been an all-star this year had he not gone down for 20-plus games. The only thing I would say, though, because I do want to give him his props and his credit, it's just that this boxes the Lakers in. You're paying Luka a ridiculous amount of money, and now you're paying Austin Reaves what's going to come out to about $46 million a year. You're locked into those two guys.
But do you think that's not deserving from Austin Reaves from a production standpoint?
I think it's deserving. In the second apron era of the NBA, you've got enough data with Austin Reaves as your second best player in a playoff series, where like last year when they lost to the Timberwolves in 5 games and it was Luka and LeBron, and then AR, we see the physicality that Austin Reaves struggles with in big-time playoff series versus a Minnesota team, versus the Thunder this past year when they were swept. And it's not a knock on Austin Reaves, because he's crafty, he's creative, he's talented, he can score the basketball, he can play make. Defensively, it's a struggle, and I just wonder, how far can the Lakers go with Luka, a guy that we all think doesn't play defense, or we think we know doesn't play defense, and then Austin Reaves, a guy that has limited strength, limited athleticism to go up against these powerhouses in the Western Conference. It boxes the Lakers in a little bit, and it really makes it hard. They have to be perfect around the margins with all the rest of their pieces. You can't go back into next season and DeAndre Ayton be your center. Like, you got to go find what Luka had in Dallas. And the thing about Luka is, like, he made it to the finals with Kyrie Irving as his running mate. So now you have Austin Reaves as your running mate. This is telling LeBron, hey, we definitely are moving in another direction. We're not giving you $40 million for one more year if you want to stay here. And it's now telling you, Luka, what he had with Kyrie, they're trying to replicate with Austin Reaves. But I'm sorry, Austin Reaves is not Kyrie Irving. So this is going to look different than it did in Dallas, especially if this Lakers front office can't figure out how to put pieces around Luka the way that Dallas did those last couple of years.
I will say, I think the draft pick, with this news, you're just solidifying the fact that I think JJ Redick just wants as much shooting as he possibly can.
Sure.
I think Cameron, that pick that the Lakers got, Cameron Carr, you just mentioned it, Chris, may end up being the steal of the draft. Of that first round. I think Cameron Carr, there was even talk of him after the combine of, could he be a potential lottery pick guy? I mean, he was super efficient on the offensive side of the floor at Baylor this past season. I mean, this is a guy averaged, close to 20 a game. You have to treat him like he's 42% from the three-point line, and a big big-time lob catcher. Like, you're going to see highlights in the NBA this season of where LeBron, Luka, Austin Reaves, they're going to be throwing lobs to Cameron Carr, who's going to be doing that 45 cut on the weak side, and just he'll catch everything. There's so much. They essentially drafted Zach LaVine. That's who the Lakers got at this point in the draft. I think there's so much Zach LaVine in Cameron Carr's game, and you pair him up with Austin Reaves and those guys. The fact that he can rip it from the three-point line, there's a lot of offense on the floor.
The question is, who can you grab though in the front court? Because you can't keep rolling out Jackson Hayes out there with the Lakers and Luka Doncic. Like Luka said, he wants to play with a premier big. Those guys aren't premier bigs, and the Lakers just haven't been able to land one. And they traded Anthony Davis, who was your premier all NBA 75 guy, to go get Luka. And the one thing I'll shout out is that Mark Walters, they bought the Lakers, and they immediately hired Tony Bennett as an NBA draft advisor. And you're telling me that he didn't have a hand in Cam Carr and is not going to have a hand in what direction they're going to go? The Lakers are also hiring 2 assistant general managers behind Rob Pelinka because the brother needs help. I'm sorry. They haven't drafted well. Like you missed on Jalen Hood-Schifino. Jaime Jaquez was picked right after him. You drafted Dalton Connect. He didn't see the floor at all last year. You actually tried to trade him the year you drafted him, and then he walked it back, and he had to stay on your team, and it's been a dumpster fire for him since. So I feel bad for Dalton Connect. The Lakers have not drafted well. They changed things in the front office to hopefully course correct, but now it's about what free agents can you grab, because it's not just a guy like Cam Carr that's going to fix you. Can you get LeBron? Like LeBron James coming back would desperately help the Los Angeles Lakers and where they're at.
You said something about LeBron, how this kind of sets in stone how the Lakers feel about LeBron for maybe one more season. What does this say to him, and what do you think happens?
Well, I don't know what number LeBron's looking for. Like if he thought he was, and I doubt, he's smart enough. I doubt he thought he was going to get another $50+ million on a one-year deal with the Lakers, but now can you sign him for a number around 25-30 million? Does he want to play for that? You're pretty capped up when you have Luka making the money he's making and now giving Reaves this money. That was the whole thing last year with Luka making his money and LeBron opting into his, I think it was $53 million deal, where they felt handicapped, where they're like, oh, the summer for us is 2026, 2027, the year after. They're kind of pausing the Luka, maximizing the Luka window, and that's why they tried to get Ayton on a cheap number. Hopefully they could revitalize his career. That didn't look like it worked out well. So with LeBron, it's what number is he looking for? What's he willing to play for? He's not going to play for a veteran minimum, and by the way, he shouldn't play for a veteran's minimum.
No, yeah, he shouldn't. And when you get Carr, when you add that shooting. Now, going back to Noah's a previous point he made, I think you blew past it. Not in a bad way, but like they now have to look at the front court. They have to take serious looks at the power forward position. It's not that you have to have a power forward, but the forward and center position from a rim protection standpoint, from a screening standpoint, you need to find elite front court help. Someone who's great at rim protection and can be also accepting of the role of like, look, man, you may not average but 10 points a game, and that's all we kind of need you to do because of all the shooting and scoring around.
And the guys they got in Dallas for Luka, Daniel Gafford, when they traded for him mid-season, the year they made the finals, and drafted Derek Lively, the year they missed out on the play-in, 10th overall out of Duke. Those were the perfect 2 guys that describe what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't care about their buckets. They just want to be lob threats. They're going to play defense. They're going to rim protect. And it blended into a role nicely that helped the Mavs get all the way to the NBA Finals. I don't know that those guys exist for the Lakers
What's
right
interesting thing about the Lively thing is now Dallas is in a position to, in the next couple of years, to be one of the best defensive front courts. And I'm kind of moving Cooper